Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am.
Nino Brown Boxing, and I'm back in the building. Shout out to the LDBC. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Man, I'm back. Decided, for a while that I really didn't want to make many videos, and honestly, that's due to the simple fact that boxing is pissing me off. Mainly, I was gonna say mainly the welterweight division, but it's not even just the welterweight division. It's like a lot of the divisions that have a lot more going on now seem to have some type of bullshit attached to it in some type of way. And honestly, it's just frustrating. Like, as a boxing fan, it's frustrating to watch boxing and watch this type of stuff go down. Watch stuff like the whole Shawn situation, where for some reason this was supposed to be the easiest fight to make against Earl Spence. Now all of a sudden it's a lot of bullshit coming up, a lot of bullshit taking place, and not many people are really coming out and saying what exactly is going on. We'll watch the WBC from the perspective of another weight class, and things are definitely handled a lot differently. Things are handled differently by the WBC, and things are handled differently by the fighters as well. So I've been hearing sides about, well, we all know how the WBC go. Like, it's written in their rules that WBC president Mauricio Suleiman could basically do whatever in the best interest of boxing. But at the same time, we've seen stuff on the Shawn Porter side, and this contradictions they've made in the media. Even in the same day, Shawn Porter, after that Danny Garcia fight, said one thing to the crowd, and went to the press conference and said something completely different. Now you have to talk to two mandatories. You got to talk to Keith Thurman. You got to talk to Andre Berto. It's just a lot of talk circulating around, but not a lot of truth. And after this past weekend, after this past weekend on Saturday, Nino Brown Boxing ordered his first UFC pay-per-view. And I was thoroughly entertained. The undercard was entertaining, and all the way up to the main event. Even though Conor McGregor got his ass beat, it was still an entertaining fight. It was their best fight and their best. And on top of that, we got some drama. We got a real big drama show after the fight. So I was entertained all the way around the board. And when Saturday's pay-per-view went off, obviously, Nino Brown Boxing is a boxing fan. That's my number one sport. And I go back to boxing, and the only thing I can see is bullshit. It's like I'm standing in the distance from a view where I'm overseeing the sport of boxing. And the UFC pay-per-view event that just took place is behind me. And all I see is guys being ducked at welterweight. Amir Khan dealing with transgenders. Talks about Tyson Fury not even enrolling in the clean boxing program yet. Canelo Alvarez moving up to 168 to fight for the regular, not the super, but the regular WBA title in efforts to is that going to be his voluntary defense? Is Canelo going to fully campaign at 168? Is the WBC going to allow Canelo to strategically move between the two divisions, similar to how Floyd Mayweather had the 154 and the 147 pound title? Now, considering that at 168, that WBC champion just got stripped for Jose Benavidez just got stripped, if I'm not mistaken, for that WBC strap. What is Canelo going to do? Capture that belt and fight week mandatories between the two? And then the WBC is going to give him some type of pass for not fighting Jamal Charlo because he's fighting the mandatory at 168. It's just a lot of confusion, and I don't know exactly how this will play out. You would ask me a month ago if Canelo was to beat Triple G, how would this play out? My response would have been, there's not that many guys for Canelo to fight. I wouldn't have thought that Canelo was going to move up to 168 and fight a regular WBA champion. It's just ridiculous, man. It's just the state of boxing now. It's in a place where I thought I would never fix my lips to say it, but the UFC is beating boxing. It's simple as that. We can talk all day about how the Zone and Eddie Hearn that shit. We can talk about how HBO is out of boxing, but when it comes to combat sports in its entirety, The UFC is whooping boxing on HBO, Showtime boxing, PBC boxing. Like, this shit is crazy. Like, you got a guy on, like Errol Spence on Twitter. He can't get the fights that he wants. He has to constantly go on social media to call people out. And it's like nobody's biting. Like, I've been hearing the theory about the whole Danny Garcia, Shawn Porter, Keith Thurman. They're trying to freeze Errol Spence out for whatever reason. And I even heard, hearing talks and videos about how Errol Spence should decide to try to get a deal with ESPN. And honestly, at this point, I don't disagree. It's like, if I want to be a welterweight champion, if I want to be undisputed at welterweight, I want to fight all the guys at welterweight. And I'm under this PBC Showtime umbrella, and I can't get the opportunities that I want. Now, I'm the hottest guy in the welterweight division. I got the Dallas Cowboys backing me. I got a lot of fans backing me. I got everyone believing that I can beat every one of these guys. And when it comes to the PBC side, none of these guys want to get in the ring with me. It's time for me to take my services somewhere else that I'm appreciated. The way that things are structured there, like these guys can necessarily be forced to face one another, but in a sense, they actually can. See, it's a loophole to all of this that it seems like I haven't heard anyone talk about. Now, the managers may say, "Oh, let's just use Shawn Porter for example. Kenny Porter's his manager. Kenny may say, "Well, I don't want Shawn to fight. I don't want Shawn to fight Earl right now." Now, Al Heyman being his advisor, Al Heyman can't advise Shawn Porter to do something that Shawn Porter doesn't want to do, or if Shawn Porter can't make. If it's not like in the best interest of Shawn Porter's goals, and his goal is to duck Errol Spence, Al Heyman can't make him fight. The WBC may want to protect Shawn Porter all day, but my thing is, if we really wanted to get down to it, the only way for these fights to actually take place has to be placed on a network. Now, we all know it's been talks of Shawn Porter possibly wanting to sign with the Zone and Eddie Hearn. You've seen him in the video on Ellie Seckback channel of him talking to Eddie Hearn and all that dumbass shit. But if the networks say this is the fight that we want, and if the networks put their foot down, they have no choice but to make these fights happen. It doesn't matter what the fighters want, or what their team wants, or what the sanctioning bodies want. No money is made if it's not televised. And if it's not televised, you got to get the fans what they want. Now, that's when a guy like Stephen Espinoza comes into place, and he try to make shit happen. Now, we understand that Stephen Espinoza has some type of deal and relationship with Al Heyman and the PBC and all of, that Showtime relationship. I get it, I understand, but it's getting to a point where the UFC is starting to shit on boxing. Like I said, I never thought I would say it, but it's just ridiculous. Like, me as a boxing fan, I should come on here on my YouTube channel and talk about the fights that I want, talk about the fights that I want and I see them coming to fruition, and then we discuss who we think is going to win, who should fight who next because they just beat this top guy. The conversation narrative shouldn't always be about the politics of boxing and why this person can't fight this person because of this reason, X, Y, and Z. And it's like, man, it's crazy. Like, being a boxing fan, it should be very simple. I want to know who the best fighter is. I want to know who can collect all the belts. I want to know who has the ability to move up and dominate the most weight classes. I want to know, like, okay, I understand this guy is naturally smaller than the next guy, so even though he may be more skilled, he's not genetically gifted enough when it comes to his size to move up and capture more titles. So we know that this particular division, this is guy's cap. All of that stuff, that's what we should be talking about. The way that the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder situation is going on, outside of the whole drug testing thing, that's what we should be talking about. But when it comes to all the reasons in the world why Shawn Porter can't get in the ring with Errol Spence, does he really want to? Is it Shawn or is it his team? This shit is ridiculous. Like, the UFC puts on events over and over again and have their best guys fighting their best guys. And people in boxing always talk about, well, Floyd Mayweather messed it up because when it comes to guys not wanting to take a loss, like we all know that's bullshit. It's bullshit for the simple fact a guy like Austin Trout gets title shot after title shot after title shot. For the simple fact, Austin Trout, he fights the tough competition. So people constantly make all of these excuses. It seems like guys are just afraid. They're afraid to take an L. They're afraid of the embarrassment, or they're afraid to not have that, to not have the ability to brag and not have the ability to flex on their opponent. So they want to say, okay, well, I keep my O, or I keep this one loss status, and I can continue to try to make it seem like I'm something I'm not. Because if I continue to lose fights, and if I have 3 and 4 losses under my belt, at that point in time, I have no excuse not to fight the best competition that's put in front of me. It's not an A side, B side, it's just man against man, and that made the best man win. But it's just the politics in boxing, for me, as a boxing fan, is ruining the sport right now. And the conversation when it comes to boxing talk should be the same way we talk about basketball, the same way we talk about football, the same way we talk about any other sport. The best person is fighting the best, and I believe he's better than him because he does X, Y, and Z, and they beat X, Y, and Z. It's that simple. I can't even imagine being a basketball fan and saying like, well, I believe the Lakers could beat this team, but you know, Lakers, they on the West Coast now. They got legacy. They got all of these rings. Like, why do the Lakers need to face the Timberwolves? Like, the fuck? If the Lakers can play the Timberwolves, let them beat the Timberwolves because they can beat them. Like, what has been done in the past should not have any. It shouldn't carry any weight on who can beat who tomorrow. But that's just the way boxing is right now. And unfortunately, it's killing the sport. And hopefully things will change. It's just, like, it's horrible, man. Like, the only thing right now as a boxing fan that's giving me some type of belief and keeping me interested even watching is this upcoming fight and the undercard surrounding Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. That's entertaining. That's what I want to see. And it's like, at this point, I can't really think of much. Honestly, wish Andre Ward would come back to boxing and call out Alexander Usyk and take his undisputed title to make the shit interesting. Because the way these guys right now are conducting themselves, it's either you have to be in an unpopular division for the best to fight the best, or you got to be an absolute warrior like Shawn. Oh my God, I can't believe I said that shit. An absolute warrior like Andre Ward, and say that you'll fight someone, even if you're not ready to fight them now, you'll make it very clear on what your intentions are. You'll sign a contract to back it up, and then you'll make that shit happen. But unfortunately, other guys in the sports outside of Deontay Wilder, they don't carry their stuff like that. You know, everyone's focused on let this fight build and let this fight marinate, or they'll be they're very strategic about it. Even a lot of guys that I like Errol Spence is my favorite fighter, and when it comes to the whole Terrence Crawford situation, I don't see, like, Errol Spence, he's not even moving the way I want him to move, and it's unfortunate. I mean, the last guy in boxing that's not a heavyweight that moved the way a boxer should move, and it's not Deontay Wilder, from what I can remember, is Andre Ward. It's either Andre Ward was ducked, and if he wasn't ducked, he went up and he handled his business. But we don't have that right now. And it would be great for a fighter of Andre Ward's caliber, or of Andre Ward to come back, or let it be known that these guys aren't conducting themselves how fighters should conduct themselves. It's just you fight the best, plain and simple. We understand that boxing is a business, but a lot of the shit that they talking about, well, I can't do this and I can't do that, shit, Andre Ward did it. So, I don't know, man. It's just a lot of the fighters from the past. Well, not even the past. Andre Ward, because he's the only one that has a resume and that has the accolades in his career. They could, have 2 legs and 2 feet to stand on and call these guys out on their bullshit. Andre Ward and Deontay Wilder, and put things into perspective for the fans. But that's just my take on it, guys. That's this current state of boxing. It just has me pissed off. It has Nino Brown boxing wanting to become a UFC fan, but my heart is with boxing right now. And that's just the way it is. It's Nino Brown boxing, and I'm out.